What does Wicked, the story of a fiery, misunderstood green-skinned witch, have to do with eczema and topical steroid withdrawal? Well, everything actually. In this video, I'm going to deep dive into the world of Wicked, that's the book, the show, and the movie, and I'll tell you how it's mirrored my own skin journey from learning patience, acceptance, and just standing up for what I believe in. So if you've ever felt silenced, misunderstood, or judged for how your skin looked, this one's for you. I'm extremely excited for part 2 of Wicked to come out in the cinema, and it spurred me to make this video right before its release. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen Wicked or read the books, proceed with caution. Having gone through eczema and then TSW, the themes in Wicked seem to hit close to home. The condition of topical steroid withdrawal is very visual, and the same way that Elphaba is strikingly green, we can appear strikingly red, flaking, oozing. So when I saw Wicked for the first time, I definitely saw a part of me in Elphaba. But before we get into the deep symbolism, let's talk about the story itself, because it is so layered, it's glittery, it's heartbreaking, it's thought-provoking, and at times quite sad. The way that I've discovered Wicked is first seeing the theatre show back in 2019. It's kind of a tradition that every time it's my mum's birthday, I take her to the theatre, and this particular year I decided to go see Wicked. Now, for those of you that don't know, the theatre show is actually based off a book, which is also based off another book. So there are loads of adaptations and changes from the two books that make this theatre show special. So I'm going to talk about the theatre show first, and then tell you how I discovered the other formats of the story. So when I went to see Wicked in the theatre, I was about 2 years into my TSW journey, and I was doing really well. My skin was the best it's been since the start, and it was just a sense of peace that I felt. And anyone suffering with eczema, you know that that is just a luxury. So I went into the show without knowing much of the plot. The minute I saw Elphaba on stage and how all the other characters reacted to her, I definitely saw myself in Elphaba. People looked at her in shock, in disgust, and there are so many times in my life where I felt like that. I felt that I stuck out like a sore thumb. I've been a burden to those that had to care for me. Honestly, just felt judged that I wasn't taking care of myself, or that I had done this to myself purposely. So we're going to move on to the film now. I saw the first film in 2024. So this is a 5-year difference from the play to now the film. I went to see it with a friend called Stavrina. Hi Stav. And she has never seen Wicked, so she doesn't know anything about the plot. And I remember going to Odeon Lux, and we had the big chairs, we got blankets, we got snacks. And as the lights came down, I handed Stavrina a tissue. Bearing in mind, I never cried during the theatre show, but for some reason I felt that we needed tissues today. And I was completely right. I think I cried about 4 times during that film, and the first time I cried was in the opening number, because obviously I know the whole plot of the story and what it foreshadowed. Spoiler alert, Glinda, Ariana Grande in the film, is setting alight a bonfire in celebration of Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, dying. And what should be a joyous occasion for everyone, because she is such an evil witch, it's heartbreaking for Glinda because that is her best friend. She is playing along with everyone else, pretending to be happy that this person is gone. But you can tell inside she's breaking. One of the best scenes in the film is when Elphaba and Glinda first meet. And Glinda is obviously very horrified by Elphaba's colouring, offers her services and said, if Elphaba ever wants to address the problem, she'd be happy to help. And Elphaba's response is spot on.
Offering to help someone that you don't know with skills that you don't have.
And how often have we been in a situation where everyone wants to tell us what to do with our skin, even though they've never suffered from eczema? You know the phrase, have you tried coconut oil? It's giving, I don't know your situation, but here's the solution. I think this scene is very important to establish the personality of each character. We know that Glinda often doesn't read the room. She just sees it from her perspective, not how she can come across or what she's saying may affect someone or offend someone. She just does not get it. For Elphaba, she's experienced this way of life since she's been born. She knows what comebacks to use to take the emphasis off her green and turn it back on the person. When people gasp at her, the first thing she says is,
Do I have something in my teeth?
she has a set number of responses to deflect the guilt and the shame that she feels into almost humour. She does it when Glinda and her first meet, and also when she meets Fiyero for the first time, where she says,
No, I'm not seasick.
Neither am I.
No, I did not eat grass as a child.
You didn't, I did.
And yes, I have always been green.
And the defensiveness, is that a recent development?
he doesn't see the need for her to explain herself. Maybe because he fancies her, but anyway. This is where myself and Elphaba differ. Elphaba is very fiery in her responses, and she puts the walls up straight away and tells people, this is who I am, don't tell me who I am. Whereas me, growing up, I was very shy, very withdrawn as a child. I would always cover up. I would retreat into myself, and if anybody asked me about my skin, I'd just give them a vague response, but I would never hold my head up and say, this is who I am, until now. I think with age, that's what naturally comes. I'm more sure of myself as an adult, as a woman. I wish I was more like Elphaba. I remember the second time I cried, it was in the ballroom scene, where everybody is making fun of Elphaba for wearing a fabulous hat that was given to her by Glinda in a very spiteful manner. She basically says, forget you guys, I'm gonna dance. And she dances alone in the middle of this ballroom. And for once in her life, Glinda feels guilt and she feels empathy for someone else. So she jumps in and dances with Elphaba. The bit that made me cry is when Glinda just touches Elphaba's face as a tear drops. I think the reason why it made me so emotional, reflecting back to my skin journey, is that a lot of times people think that what we're going through is contagious. And sometimes when you are going through a flare and your skin is very uncomfortable, touch is not necessarily something that you want. I remember going through TSW and I couldn't even have clothes on my body because it hurt that much. Up until this point, everybody looked at Elphaba in disgust and pretty much stayed away from her. And here was Glinda telling her everything was okay, I'm on your side, and touching her face. And it's such a tender moment, but for me, it's Glinda's acceptance to say, I'm not afraid of your skin, and I don't see the green on your skin. And I remember looking over at Stav. She was gone. We were both there just bawling our eyes out, and I could tell that she felt the film. She felt it from there. For the film adaptation of Wicked, I think that even in their casting, it feels true to what the story needs. Ariana Grande, who is Glinda the Good, is the epitome of the beauty standard of much of the world that people try to live up to. Petite, feminine, fair-skinned, and literally a Barbie doll. It's a lot of what we cannot achieve as people with skin conditions. We have been conditioned to hate our imperfect skin. This is definitely very true of the 90s. We are definitely more accepting of different skin conditions and representing them as normal as we move forward in time. And we have Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West. Now I know in the film she's green, but she is a black woman, and seeing her as the lead role in this film meant so much to me. It almost adds this extra layer of seeing someone feeling othered by the colour of their skin. And I think we all laughed that they gave her braids in the film. It's these little touches that just make it so perfect. What I loved about the play and the film, it doesn't matter that Elphaba is green or that she's played by a black woman in the film. It's about identity and standing up for what you believe in, even if people will not agree. If it's your lived experience, that's what makes it true. Throughout the story, Elphaba never backs down in what she believes in. What Elphaba believes is that nobody should be silenced and nobody should have to shrink in order to fit in. Elphaba is literally the voice for everyone who's ever stood up to the system and tried to think outside of the box when it comes to what we've been told. And that is a reflection of my TSW journey. For years, I was using medication that ultimately led me to a worse off place. But when I said something, I was met with a lot of gaslighting, A lot of people telling me that can't happen when it's literally happening. In Wicked, Glinda and Elphaba both fight for different things. For Glinda, it's influence and the want to be desired. For Elphaba, it's about justice and being heard. And in all fairness, both things are needed. In order to be heard, you need to influence those who are listening. They go hand in hand, and that is the beauty of the film. They are complete opposites, but without each other, they cannot survive. And if you've seen the end of the play, you then understand that it is Glinda's influence on the people that allows Elphaba to continue her work in secret. So Wicked isn't just about two witches who start off as enemies and become best friends. Ultimately, it's a reflection on society and how one's appearance can affect how the world views them and how they move through the world. And I think that people who have suffered something like a visible skin condition, this includes eczema, psoriasis or acne, they already feel judged. They can feel othered and almost shunned from society. In essence, when Elphaba is saying that she is flying high and defying gravity, that is me without my steroids. There are some lyrics in that song that really hit home. It's time to trust my instinct, close my eyes and leap. This is literally me thinking, I have no other choice here. I have to stop the steroids. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I've just got to do it. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. If you decide to stop the steroids in your journey, you are on your own. Your doctors will advise against it. People will think you're crazy. They will look at your skin and say, what are you doing? Just put your cream back on. Like, you were fine before, without them really understanding why you've stopped. To those who ground me, take a message back from me, is telling them, no, this is what I've discovered and I'm going to tell you the truth about what is happening. And you can choose to follow or not.
Are you coming?
And in this scenario, Glinda chose not to follow.
Elfie, trembling.
She chose to stay. I mean, it worked out in everyone's favour, but she did not subscribe to the wizard being all that bad. For her, she still looked up to what they could provide for her. Where I completely lost my bearings was when she's falling off the side of the building and she catches a glimpse of her younger self. That's my younger self. And if I could tell her that it would be fine and you'd be fine with your skin condition, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's gonna shape who you are. This is me now, I'm fine. And I'm flying high, like grab my broom, I'm gone. I'm doing great. That part really tugged on a few heartstrings for me. So now let's move on to the books. So after I had seen the show, watched the film, I decided to deep even further into the world of Wicked and read the books. When I say read, I mean have someone read it to me because I listened to it on Audible. So originally, the characters of Elphaba and Glinda were introduced in a book called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And this was written by Frank Baum, I hope I'm saying his name right, back in 1900. So this is going way back. In the book, they mentioned that the Emerald City isn't actually emerald.
Sorry, What?
When visiting the Emerald City, everyone is forced to wear glasses, and it is actually these glasses that are green. They are told that you put them on to protect your eyes from the glare from the amazing emerald buildings. Little do they know, the buildings are actually normal, it's the glasses that make everything appear green. And this is literally the illusion of society, the rules and regulations that you have to adhere to allow this lie to continue. I don't think that those things are transferred into the other book and the show, but the illusion is still there. Everyone thinks the wizard is this magical being. He's not.
Elphaba, throw up.
A man.
Sorry about all that. I didn't mean to startle you.
He's a man, a regular man, behind a clockwork face. And everything that he does is very calculated, but he needs people to stay in their place in order for that to continue. And Elphaba is one of the people that will not stand for that and decides to fight to protect the animals and ultimately herself. This inspired another writer, Gregory Maguire, to write another book, this time called Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, and he wrote this in 1995. This is almost 100 years after The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, but it's incredible how the story can still translate to modern day. And then that inspired the play, which was created in 2003, so that is another 10-year or so difference. The beauty of all of these formats of this story is that the characters stay central and the themes stay consistent, but the story that intertwines them differs. So when I was listening to the book, I'm talking about the one made by Gregory Maguire, it deep dives into Elphaba's history more and why she is the way she is, and a lot of her family life is involved there. In the first chapter of the book, we are sitting with Elphaba in a tree overlooking Dorothy, the Tin Man, Lion and the Scarecrow, and they are basically chatting shit about Elphaba. The one thing that grabbed me, which actually inspired this video, was when Lion said, "She was deprived of a mother's love, so I've heard. She was abused as a child. She was addicted to medicine for her skin condition." As I heard that, I paused the audible and I said, "Say what now? Do they think she's green because of her addiction for medication?" I felt personally attacked. There are a lot of things in the books that don't appear in either the theatre show or the film, but reading them, I feel like there's even more symbolism that is tied to eczema and TSW, and I'll go through a few of them. So in the book, there is something called the Clock of the Time Dragon. You actually hear it being mentioned in the film, where Glinda tells everyone what time Elphaba died.
According to the Time Dragon clock, the melting occurred at the 13th hour.
Or should I say, died. If you watch the play, you will see the Time Dragon clock directly above the stage. It's there in reference to the book. And this Time Dragon clock is basically a moving show that has puppets in the front. And these shows are meant to be prophetic. They're meant to predict what happens in the future and can tell you about your past. Ironically, Elphaba was born inside of this clock because her mother was under attack. So they hid her in this clock and she gave birth to Elphaba. So after having Elphaba, Milena, her mother, was very scared of having another green child. So when she was pregnant, she asked Nanny to go get some medicine to prevent the next baby from being green. Nanny went to get a potion, Milena drank it, and unfortunately, the next baby that was born, Nessa Rose, came out with no arms. In the film and in the show, Nessa Rose has all her limbs, but she can't walk. So similar, but not the same. So again, there's that tie-in of medication and hoping for one thing and it turning out to be something completely different. But going back to green, why is Elphaba green? Why did she come out like that?
You're green. I am.
In all three formats, it's explicitly said that Elphaba's mum was not faithful to her husband Frex, and she had an affair. While having this affair, the gentleman gave her a vial of green liquid, and she drank it, and it caused her not really to remember the whole encounter, which is quite sus, but it made Elphaba green. You later find out that the man that gave Elphaba's mum this potion is actually the wizard, and the wizard is actually Elphaba's dad. So let's tie that all in together. For me, when talking about this film and the symbolism to my skin journey, the wizard and Emerald City is like my medication, my clear skin, my hopes and dreams of being free from this skin condition. And it's something I look up to and I want to work towards in my life. I am Elphaba and I am green, or in this case, red itchy flaking. The one thing that I look up to is the one thing that made me suffer. I didn't know that the wizard and his potion was the reason why I am the way I am. And it's only when I finally get to meet the wizard do I realize that it's all been a farce. When Elphaba goes to the Emerald City, she realizes that everything is not what it seems and that she's been manipulated to believe a narrative that's not true. And I relate, because I was told that if I use these medications, they'd be safe. And it wasn't. It was only once I stopped and I cut ties with my wizard, my Emerald City, did I realize what was happening. I could have been blindsided for the rest of my life, I think, if I carried on the way I was. But yeah, back to the book. Sorry, I digress. So one of the differences between the books and the film or show is that there is a very palpable feeling of Elphaba's dad not loving Elphaba because of her green skin.
Take it away!
Not really sure if it's because he is aware that she is an affair baby, or just the fact that she's green and it brings a lot of attention to their family in a negative way. Either way, he's not very nice to Elphaba. He sees her as a burden, an annoyance, and yes, there are times where I have felt like that. I have felt like a burden to my family. I often thought, are they arguing because of me? Because it was a lot to take care of me as a child. Constant doctor's appointments, creams, schedules, you know? So I do feel that. In the books, however, it's not that obvious that Frex dislikes Elphaba. In fact, there is this weird tenderness between them. It's still obvious that Nessa Rose is his favorite, but he doesn't hate Elphaba, which I think they've just changed that in the theatre show just to really drive home why Elphaba is the way she is and all the pent-up angst that she has. Another difference is that in the books, Fiyero is not normal coloured, we shall say. In the books, he's actually described as having ochre skin with blue diamonds all over. And that's probably why he doesn't see Elphaba as strange. To him, they are both weird coloured beings, but in the movie and the show, obviously they've just made him normal, which makes Elphaba stand out a lot more. In a world of normal, she is the odd one. She is an anomaly. After attending Shiz University, Elphaba tries to go to the wizard to ask for help for what is happening in the world, and he basically refuses. He wants to keep things the way they are, and this is what leads Elphaba to join an underground group in the resistance against the wizard. Very similar to what happens in the play. And once again, that definitely reflects us. How many times have we gone to the doctors for help and just not been given the help that we need? And so we take our treatment into our own hands. That's literally what Elphaba has done. She said, you're not gonna help me and I can do this without you. We know that in the show, the love story that develops is between Elphaba and Fiyero. In the books, it's slightly different. Fiyero is actually married with 3 kids, and him and Elphaba actually have an affair. So it's a little bit more seedy, and Elphaba is not 100% in the right. So same way that Fiyero chooses Elphaba over his wife, he chose Elphaba over Glinda as well. But because of their affair, it leads Fiyero to see Elphaba for who she actually is, without all of her guards up. There are so many parts of the book that, even when taken out of context, reflect my TSW journey to a T. There is a part where Elphaba is crying and she quickly runs for something to wipe her face, and it's only then do we realize that her tears actually burn her skin. So that whole situation where she's afraid of water is actually true in the books. It's not true in the play and the film. There is a part where they are discussing how does she keep clean if she can't use water, and Fiyero, knowing this personally, he knows that she uses oil instead of water to bathe. I just think that that's pretty fitting, because at the height of TSW, water is extremely painful. It feels like acid on your skin, and there are times when I would avoid showering in order to keep myself comfortable. I can say that I did cry a lot during TSW, and it does sting. I had a lot of open cuts around my cheeks, and crying just did not help the situation. But I related to that. In the book, Elphaba is traveling a very long way to confess some of her sins to Fiyero's wife. And on the way, she meets a princess called Princess Nastoya. And this princess has actually been put under a curse. She chooses to reveal her true form to Elphaba, which is an elephant. She's been put under a curse, which makes her appear as a human. And I just thought how ironic that is, because when you go through TSW, you develop elephant skin, and yeah, my knees were sagging, my elbows were sagging, just like an elephant, for a good couple of months after Nerea was born. Speaking of Nerea, Fiyero has a wife and 3 kids, and the youngest of their kids is called Nor, N-O-R, and my daughter is called Nerea, which I think is quite heartfelt. And Elphaba spends quite a lot of time with Nor. Elphaba's kind of standoffish about kids, but she does have a soft spot for this girl, and it's actually Nor who is the first person to ever fly Elphaba's broom. The way she did it is a bit odd. She was trying to impress some soldiers, and she got naked and jumped on the broom and it started flying. But the book is very weird, by the way. If you're gonna read it, I think it's like 18 plus, okay? It's a weird book, very weird book. Going back to the Clock of the Time Dragon, at some point Elphaba meets again with the clock, and it shows her her life. It shows her that her mother had an affair. It showed her the green elixir, why she's green, and it showed her who her dad is. And parts of me wish that I had a time dragon clock that could have shown me how this journey would have gone. Would it have made it easier? Probably not, but I would have probably seen ahead of time what I was gonna go through. By the time you guys see this video, I will be 8 years into my TSW journey, and I'm doing really well. I guess that is a nice feeling, to know that I've reached a place where I'm happy and not uncomfortable. Yeah. So that is my video essay on the story of Wicked and what that means to me as an eczema girly, and I hope you understand how I see the parallels between my TSW journey and the journey of Elphaba. She was green, I was red, but in the end we came out fighting. So if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay kind to your skin, stay patient, and be unapologetically